Hello there. Welcome to episode 2 of The Land of Good and Evil Season 1. We are currently at the beginning of a new session and new migrants hit town just when I unpaused the game, just when I wanted to talk about what I had on my mind for today. So let's start with putting those animals in the pen if they bring any new ones, but I didn't see that. And then let's talk. So we don't have water so far. Officially, this map has an aquifer. Actually, never seen that stuff yet. So, well, we're going to continue carving out our stuff here, but the thing that I want to get going for today is a water supply, irrigation, those things. Because, we have to. So for starters, I'm going to set up, well, just a handful of rock mechanisms. I do them awkwardly like this because I am still hoping to find a certain type of stone which is magma safe, which I can make my mechanisms out of henceforth. But so far, no magma safe stone showed up, so we'll see about that. Sooner or later, I have always found one in my fortresses. So here, the rest of the city is a little bit more in the making. And we're going to go right there upstairs already because, we gotta be working on that before it turns into a problem. So here we go. Slightly staggered, why not? Because it's fun. Alright, so this little concept here will bring us through the building of the city. I don't know how much I'll regret that design or enjoy it yet. We'll see about that. I just thought it would be fun to have my city right next to the workshops for once. Okay, so how do we resolve that water issue? The special difficulty level here is as follows. It's only stagnant, murky pools of water. That means we don't have fresh water. That also means the total amount of water here is rather limited. That means we cannot irrigate as we want to because our, we're unable to transport the water too far because if we do that, the water would, well, pretty much evaporate on its way down there. I'll explain it once the water is flowing. It'll make more sense then. So first step, we're going to drill a hole here, and then we're going to go downstairs here. So this is my agriculture level. All right, so we need the staircase down here. Right. Okay. So the next step is going to be, we're going to pipe that a little bit closer to my actual working area. Just a little bit. I know we can't afford that. Okay, and then we carve those little rooms. Except for one thing, I want a staircase here. Alright. So, here we go. And that's going to be our first growing chamber. I do this a little bit more step by step this time because, I wanted to demonstrate that concept once, and then we're going to do these forever more automated. So here we need a 7-on-7 grid, because we have up here, it's going to look like that. Do we use a door or do we use a bridge? Well, let's use a bridge. I like bridges. So here we use a bridge. I want to choose from what I build. And, oh yeah, we need hatches. Totally forgot about rock hatches. There we go. Let's always have some of those. Not too many, though. They are, after all, not that much of a common good. And then we can open that up. And the next step would be that we'd say, here's the next grow chamber. And here we can replicate that design. Here we go. So, what I'm doing here has the purpose to flood that stone area downstairs once with water, but I see a fault in my thoughts. We have here cavern floor. Oh no. Oh no. This map is more complicated than I assumed. So these chambers here, they won't work. That's too bad. Oh dear. This is something that I haven't seen coming. Let's see if this room here is better. The problem is we cannot irrigate rocky soil. So basically, we can already build a farm on that, and therefore we cannot muddy the floor because it is basically already muddy. The downside though is this stuff makes plants grow insanely slow, whereas this stuff, once it's muddied, is like 4 times as powerful in terms of farming quality. So that's looking good here. All right, that's a relief. So we have to choose our farming spots wisely here. Oh dear, that's an unforeseen problem. So what I'm doing here will be quite pragmatic. I'll be just slapping up a wall here, and we're going to relay the tunnel into this direction. So we get to distribute the water down here. Oh man, this is not what I like to see. But probably we will fix something up once we have access to aquifers. My current idea is that we're going to leave it with only that one growth chamber for now. We're going to put up more of these later, when we obviously know where there's more water. It really confuses me to no end that I haven't found the aquifer they promised me on the map, but we'll see about that. Okay, so what will we need as well? We need another bridge here. And another door here. So we can provide workspace safety for our dwarves. Alright, so, well, I could try my luck with another one here. And then we'd draw something like that here. Problem is, I'm not sure if I have enough water for these plants in the pool, but I'll surely try. Okay, so I'll be setting up the machinery and all the things off camera, and I'll give you a little bit of a show what it does once it's done, because the setup of the levers, you know, linking levers and those things, it's not exactly that exciting, so I'll see you when we're there. Alright, so for one, most of the machinery is in place. For another thing, it's time for the autumn caravan. Well, Justice Paint hasn't had time to bring up any trade goods so far. They were knee-deep in work with that irrigation of theirs because it turned out to be way more problematic. But what I want to do for this one is I want to go on over into the miscellaneous tab, and we're going to order charcoal and coke from these. And usually when there's coke in their selection, you will find in the stone department either bituminous coal or lignite or both. Usually. That's always depending what they got on their stockpiles currently. So looks like our friends don't have any lignite or coal for sale currently. Whatever. We're ordering these things, and it's about time that we're going to set up the machinery, because I must check yeah, here. This one is the last one that needs a linking. So, alright, so let's look this up. Here we got now one lever for the water. I set up the bridge here, and therefore we're going to go here, and this lever is supposed to be pulled immediately. And then we'll see this bridge ratchets up. So that's exactly what we want. We're going to open this as an entry point for that water. Then the water travels down here, and then we got these two levers. One is linked to the bridge, and the other one is linked to the hatch. Currently we only want to flood one of the chambers, because I'm a little bit afraid that the water won't suffice for both of them. We'll see about that here. Bridge cranks up. So last thing that we got to do before we can set this wonderful plan into motion is we need to dig out a little bit of a channel here. Also, the food and drink situation is a little bit, well, problematic. Oh, whoopsie, I did it the wrong way. You have to channel, of course, directly above, because this command digs this tile and that tile at the same time, without any risk of drowning. So, here we go. Body of water is in motion. We are now ready to flick the switch. This is always my favorite part. So, the most important part whenever you work with water is that you have an on and off switch, which we got here. Also, I'm forbidding that door now because I don't want any water accidents. So, here in a pond like that, the total amount of water is limited. And if the path it has to travel is too long, you'll end up with too many tiles that have only 1 or 2 pieces, units of water to fill, and that's when water can evaporate. The merchants are warning me that they don't have any space to unload their goods. I foresaw that. There will be no trade this year yet, so I'm okay with that. And here what I'm waiting for now is that this chamber is filling totally up, and once that has happened, we are going to flick the switch for this bridge, and we're lowering this bridge afterwards. The murky water is no good for drinking and the like, but it is very, very good for irrigating our area here. So it's not exactly anything new. So ratchet the bridge upwards, and then we have this chamber here separated. There we go. And now we go for that lever and repeat the process. In the meantime, we can open up the hatch. This one. And now the water drops down here. Let's make sure nobody accidentally enters. And the beauty about that plan is it is exactly enough water to make sure that the water can evaporate on these tiles. So here we have now almost the pond already drained. That's what I pretty much foresaw. But I think we should be okay, water amount-wise. And this way we have secured the food situation for Justice Paint, just like that. By now I always go for systems like that instead of any low-quality farming, because you see, we are not that deep in. It's been just a year, and this is now a how to call it, a more complicated scenario. Usually it's even easier than that, and usually I'm one season faster than that. Here we had to work around with these things, but it's gonna be fine. All right, we got that now, and irrigation done. We can, of course, expand that network in the future, because it's obviously still enough water here. I'm relieved that there was enough water for that. And the next thing we do is we pull the lever so the pond can refill. We can use this water depot here now later. Currently, I mean, it's stagnant water, so it's not fit for drinking purposes. But, it's gonna be fine. We're dropping down farm tiles now. These are not super efficient or anything. They're just my favorite because I'm personally a brute force player when it comes down to farming. Okay, so I'm going to set up those farms, and when it's time to patch them up and talk about rules about farming, I'll be there again for you. Let's just do the tedious things real quick. Okay, So I laid down some plans. As you see here, I am currently ripping out old walls and expanding this cavern into some titanic thing. That's because I have decided that the clothing industry and the food industry will swap places. Here's going to be the food industry no more. We are going to go and put that stuff down here, mostly because I realized that my farming will happen there, so gotta do what you gotta do, right? So I want to set up the farming here in detail because I think this is something a lot of people might be, I don't know, maybe it's useful for you. That's what I'm talking about. So the first stockpile that I'm doing here, because stockpile configuration is always a pain, is going to be for seeds. So we're going to go food-wise, and here we go. The seed stockpile is one that I always like to have close to the farms. The first farms, oh my god, plants. Sorry. I don't know about these plants yet. They are from the mod pack. So the first farms I do are always like that. First, one farm with plump helmets, because, you know, you can't have too many plump helmets. One farm with pigtails, because pigtails are bringing cloth and drink. You can eat, you can brew them and manufacture cloth out of them, and then goes another spot to the sweet pods, because you can also make booze out of them directly. And the last one will be another stockpile of plump helmets, because, you know, I love to have an abundance of these. And for now, I leave it like that, because I don't want to overstress my planter. Whoopsie, wrong button. So next step, the planters. We got one planter and that's enough. So we're going to make sure that only the planter does the job. I don't want anybody else doing this. And the other thing in the standing orders is, let me check here. Everybody harvests. No, I only want the farmers to harvest. I want that farmer to be getting all the experience out of that operation. That's, for me, the most important thing, because farmers, the yield of your farms is depending on the XP of your farmer, so, you know, it's just good for you. Next stockpile is going to be for all the things that we harvest. So a new stockpile for plants, but also for fruits, leaves, and also for, where was it again? There's one category that's important and I'm forgetting always. Well, plants and fruits and leaves are, of course, for now not wrong. I think I'm forgetting something, but maybe I don't. So this is to make sure that your farmer is, when he is done with farming, can transport his goods quickly to the nearest stockpile. Very, very important to make your whole economy efficient. And the last stockpile that we're going to bring up here, oh well, not really the last, is going to be the drink stockpile. We're going to delete that over here. That's a nifty way to move a stockpile, isn't it? And we're going to bring up yet another stockpile on over here. Oh, whoopsie. We need a new one. Catching all the things that we've forgotten now that are important for the food industry. So that's going to be fish and meat and cheese and milk plants, why not? Fat, paste, basically all the things that your kitchen will make food out of. You often will end up with things that you have forgotten in one way or another, but don't you worry. There's always something that you can optimize. It's always like that. Alrighty, so let's bring that up like this. So the basic concept will be the stills will be more living on that side, while the cooking and kitchen stuff will be more living on that side. Let's see how well that'll work. I'm not saying that this is by all means a super good concept or anything. I'm just trying around to change up things. So let's set up the clothiers parlor real quick as well, because I know how important these things are. And out of the experiences that I've made over the course of the time, I'm bringing up 2 looms and 2 clothiers right away, because, you know, By the end of the day, we'll need them. A leatherer to satisfy all those moody dwarven needs, and I think that's a good start for now. We're also going to have a tanner over here, but actually, nope. The tanner will be, or the tanners will be living right next here, where we're also featuring the butchers. Here we go. And that should be okay for starters. Here's going to be the big bad stockpile zone for all the leathers and the cloth. So we have all that stuff centralized as well. And I think we're also going to make one big bad clothing stockpile here as well. Ah, whoopsie, that was not the stuff that I meant. Of course I meant... Oh yeah, armor. Yeah. It's, if I remember correctly, yeah, we have to denominate as armor. You know, everything you can wear is armor at the end of the day, isn't it? At least in Dwarf Fortress it is. Okay, so as frightening as I thought the numbers would be, food and drink are really still looking bad. One thing that I like to do whenever that happens is to go upstairs and set up some plant gathering jobs. In nearly all biomes that I've been so far, there's always stuff you can harvest. We can also set up a gathering area for, let's see, example, here cherries, that's a good example. So you go and, is it here, gather fruit. Set up a zone like that, and your dwarves will go on over there and gather stuff. Finally, we get in some more migrants. That's very appreciated, because currently workforce is my biggest problem. It's pretty typical, you know. Early game fortresses always tend to have that issue. But what is my planter doing? My dear planter. Oh, he's gathering plants currently. I am not happy with that. That's because, you know, plant gathering... Ah, yeah, alright, I had it on this guy. My bad. But we are going to put that duty on that farmer. Here we go. Here it's the same logic. I only want to have one dwarf on that duty to give him all the XP. But the planter, well, the planter is not supposed to be that dwarf because, you know, he has better things to do. All right, so that's a good start. My food and drink numbers are looking really troubling, but the still is working. The kitchen is cooking, so we probably should be fine. Took me longer than I liked, you know, that's all. We are also going to set up a nice stockpile zone here for empty rock pots. Let's see how well that'll work. I don't know how well that works. So here's how I set it up. I think it's barrels all the way. Yeah. You know, only because it's made out of rock. This game, for as far as the game's logic goes, it's still a barrel. Okay, it's about time to delete this nasty stockpile. I only call out this starter stockpile every time out of one direct reason, and that is to get the stuff out of the wagon underground. That's where it's safer, you know. Alright, so let's work on that happiness, shall we? The fortress is in an okay shape. We got lots of work to do there, though. The most important thing is I want bedrooms for everybody. What's really cool, DF Hack allows me to make these things happen much easier than without. You know, without DF Hack, you won't be able to do these things like I do them here. So we just need to delete that job here, where they want to do things doubly. But beyond that, I've been there. I've made bedroom plans for these things without DF Hack, and let's just say it is quite the relief. So we're going to have also, I think, some common rooms quite soon, but you know, one thing at a time. The most important thing with the fortress in that very early stage is that we don't overburden it. Let's see. Why is this still not working? Well, where is my planter? What is my planter doing? Currently, alright, he's sleeping. I forgive you. I forgive you. It's not as if we are currently in a dramatic situation or anything like that. It's just not that good. Also, we got bonus plants growing here. Abyss shades. These are modded. I don't know what they do yet. Due to the fact that we've struck the caverns, there's that cave moss growing, and that means we got access to free plants, subterranean plants growing here for us. I really like that one. Alright, it's almost winter, and we've struck yellow jasper. Ha! It's the first pieces of gemstone for us. Nice. So there's still much shop to set up. Alright, so here we have one huge furniture stockpile. I'm going to set up the jeweler's parlor right behind that, I'd say. Let's make that look like this. I don't know, with this mod it seemed to me as if we had more options than usual. But, well, we'll see about that. So this corner's goal will be to allocate the gemstones, process them, and encrust selected furniture. You know, I don't like to do this for every piece of furniture, just for a selected few. Alright, speaking about selected few, there is a selected few of dwarves that are now receiving their first opportunity to sleep in a bed, and I love the fact that we have limestone beds in this mod pack. Finally, dwarves can sleep in proper beds. They don't need to sleep on hippie materials anymore. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that just what a dwarf needs? Alright, I'm plastering down those limestone blocks here with the feeling of a happy man who did that way less convenient in the past and knows how valuable that quality of life can be. So, Justice Paint's main duty currently is still reaching equilibrium. There are so many things where we still need to set us up. We don't have a dining area yet. We don't have a tavern yet. There's still so much that we need to do, but I think by the end of episode 2, which we're sadly currently reaching, I think we made a pretty good part here today. The irrigation system took me some time to get going, but it is oh so important. Is my planter still sleeping? No job. Are you kidding me? Oh. Nah, well, it's on me. You see, sometimes it's really good to look closely in those processes, especially when it goes down for food production. So, the sunny cold has many worshippers in Justice Paint. That's very odd. We only have 14 people and they're already asking for a temple. And not only a temple for a certain god, a sect, you know? That's interesting. That's as if you are funding a new colony and suddenly the Catholic Church wants you to build a church with a functioning priest and everything. Huh. Alright, so that's going to be something I'll be pondering on. I mean, the church doesn't sound too sinister, the Sunny Cult, but I didn't expect to go that way down that early. But whatever it might be, it's just one tiny bump on the road, and I'm looking forward to fixing that one out, but not in today's episode. So I'm going to plot down some more of the city in between those episodes, and whoa, that drink number is really making me... Yeah, we got things to do in the next episode. Until then, I thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below. We're going to grab up some brewables in the next episode for sure. So this drink situation, don't worry too much about it. It's early game and these things, they are quite normal. The farms are there. It's gonna even out. Thumbs up would be appreciated. A subscription to the channel also is a very nice way to support it. And As usual, there is a playlist link down there if you want to see the Land of Good and Evil saga from the beginning. You know the drill. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you'll be around for the next one as well. Until then, have a wonderful day, and see you soon.